Hey there. How's everyone doing? Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's having a great day and a great week so far. Welcome back to another Workout Wednesday walkthrough. We're going to be reviewing this week's Workout Wednesday challenge, which is basically going to be adding some context and detail. We're going to be building off of what we built last week, and we will be having some fun. So let me get something started so we can pull up the challenge here, and we'll get started. So again, welcome everybody. Hope everyone's having a great week so far. So here is the challenge that we're going to be building. So if we pop into the Workout Wednesday blog and get going here. Let's see here. All right. So again, if you haven't already done last week's, you can certainly go and grab Erica's workbook. If you don't want to start from scratch, you can go grab Erica's workbook and pick up where we're going to leave off, or pick up where we're going to pick up today. But I highly encourage you to go through the process of building everything out step by step. But today what we're going to do is we're going to add some context and detail to this, right? So what we're going to do is add in a little bit of, again, contextual detail. So we're going to find out, we're going to show some detail of what the selected state is. We're going to show some detail of what states or what dimensions are in the reference box. And then we're going to aggregate all of the other dimensions outside of the reference plot that are not selected. So it's going to be a good time. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and jump into Tableau. I have just gone in and kind of just done this. So I just open it back up. So what we're going to go do is, the first thing that we'll do is we will start a new sheet. And just so we're all on the same page, I'm going to go ahead and just remove my extract for now. We'll put it back. We'll put it back in a little bit, right? So I'm going to remove the extract just so that we're making sure that we're all on the best data, because I don't know about you, but I have probably 15,000 different Tableau Superstore extracts on my local device. I should probably clean it up, but I haven't. So, all right. So let's go ahead. How do we want to start doing this? Let's bring out, so the way that we need to do this, if we go back and look at if we look at the example, right? So we've got selected state is this dark blue. All of the states within the reference box are this kind of, are this color, and then everything out is median, right? So the first thing that you kind of think of is, the first thing that you kind of think about whenever you do this is going to be thinking of sets, right? So we need to be thinking about sets. We're going to use a couple of different sets, potentially, and also some grouping to get things in the correct order here. So, and the other thing is that if a selected state is within the box, then it comes out of the box, and this becomes shorter. So lots of things we got to figure out, but we can do it. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to go create a set on state for my selected, or not for my selected states, for the all states that are contained within the statistical box, right? So all of those that are contained within that reference box. So let's go ahead and do that. It's going to be a conditional set, and the formula is going to be pretty interesting. So let's do the sum of sales is greater than or equal to the sales 25th. Now, Tableau is immediately giving me an error, and it says that the field is invalid, but it's not because it's right there. So let's go ahead and try bringing, if we can, and it won't let me do that. And if we try and aggregate sales 25th, it still tells me that it's invalid. And that's because I used a table calculation within this, and in order to do my sales 25th. And Tableau, you can't use table calculations within sets. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to build out these conditional arguments in a different way. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do fixed state sum sales then we're going to do the percentile of that value the 25th percentile. And now Tableau's happy, right? So we kind of have to nest an LOD inside. We have to nest an LOD inside of the percentile calculation. But now that we have that, now we can just continue going on this, right? So, and sum of sales is less than or equal to percentile fixed state sum sales, comma 0.25. So that takes care of, and I need to fix, and then it should actually be 0.75. All right. And we need to flip our sign here, so it's less than. And now we're just going to go do the profit ratio side. So, and profit ratio, so less than or greater than or equal to. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy this and put it down here. But instead of sum of sales in here, we're just going to put profit ratio. And I can get rid of my parentheses there. There we go. Okay. And profit ratio is greater than, less than or equal to, copy, paste, percentile fixed state, profit ratio of the 75th percentile. All right, so Tableau has given me the all clear, the thumbs up. You have all good. Tableau likes this conditional formula. I'm not getting any red squigglies or anything like that. So now it's time to test to make sure that we did it right. So now we have a new state called state set. I'm going to rename this real quick, and I'm going to call it my statistical states. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my state to that. I'm going to drag state out. And then I'm going to put statistical state right outside of it, so it kind of groups this together. And I can see that I didn't do something right because I have all my states are within my set. So I did something wrong. So let's go back and let's edit that. I probably need to aggregate this, perhaps. Does Tableau like that? No, it does not. Does it like it? What about here? Nope, doesn't like it there either. Okay. Let's see. Already aggregated. Okay. Selected states. Statistical set. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna go. Let's go here. And, yep, there we go. I wonder if it's going to even let me do this. Let's see. Who knows what the web capabilities are? Ah, Erica says that she used regular. She just used regular filters. Any particular for using sets in these? Let's see. I can't edit that. Of course not, because it's web edit. So so the reason that let's go here and let's open this. And while we're waiting for this to open, let's talk about Erica's question regarding why use these sets. The reason that I used a set for this is it's less filtering to use. It's easier. You could potentially use this in other applications because it's a conditional set. You could do proportional. You could use proportional brushing. You could take those states and use them in other calculations or in other views or things like that. So sets are pretty powerful whenever it comes to doing that. All right, so let's do states and state range. Yeah, okay. So I did. So I guess I just didn't have my parentheses in the right spot. So I had it right whenever I aggregated this. Just didn't have... What is this? Argument to sum is already an aggregation. Okay. Percentile, fix, sum of sales. All right, you know what? We're just going to do this. Because we're going to make it easy. Yep. So the sum of sales is greater than or equal to the sum of percentile fixed sum of sales to the 25th. Right? So now that I've got that, whenever I click apply, you'll see that my states change. Right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so now so here's my out, right? So these are my outliers, right? These are the outlier states. These are the states within the box. The only thing I need to account for now is the selected state. So now what I can do, we can kind of build this hand in hand. We can build this piece by piece, right? So we'll call this mid-level. We'll call this mid-level label. If my selected state is true, then return we'll call this. So what I can do now, actually, before I even create this, if I bring my selected state out on the top level here and reverse my sort on the selected state, all right? So now I have, so that you can see this is in the selected state because it's inside the box, but it's outside of the selected state, right? So I can now use this. I can use these two things interchangeably to get these to get this. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to call this top level label, and I'm going to say if selected state equals, or if selected state is true, then return the state name. Else, if it's in my it's in the statistical state set, then return the state. Else, we're going to say other, and we're going to say it's the median value. So that's where I'm creating the labels. Okay? And it doesn't like that if, oh, else if. There we go. There we go. So now when I take this out here, and I'm going to call this, I probably should change that. Okay, but now I can remove this. All right, and I can remove this. And now you can see I have my state names. I have my other. All right, but now I need to get so that my selected state is always on top. Selected state, if selected state, then top. Else, if selected statistical states, then middle. Else, bottom. And we'll call this sort. State sort. And now I'll just change this sort here to manual sort. Or I guess I can just do that, right? So now what you can see, I have a top level label, which is going to be the state name or other. Then I also have, I needed to figure out a way to break up these, I needed to figure out a way to break up these labels so that the sorting is always the same. So now that I have that, I can remove my, I can remove this header, remove the tooltip, and now I'm ready to start aggregating. All right, so I'll call this B sales for bar sales. And I'll say if, we'll call it if, there's a few ways you could go about this. If state sort is not equal to other median, then sum sales. Else median wrapped in a fixed state sum sales, and close my median. So what I'm doing here, and then we'll end this so I don't have any squigglies. Nope, didn't like that because I am because I'm mixing, because I've aggregated this and I've aggregated that, and I need this to say adder. There we go. All right, let's see if this works. If it works, then I'll explain why it works. No, that did not work because I still have that. Let's see. We'll do this a different way. If my selected state, then sum sales, else if statistical states, then sum sales, else there's a median fixed state, sum sales, and okay, max equals true, max equals true, there we go. All right, so let's break this apart. So what we're saying is, now remember, sets and booleans are either sets and booleans are either true, false. So I'm saying if I take the max and the maximum value of a boolean is true, the minimum value of a boolean is false. So if the max of selected state, which is a boolean, equals true, then do the sum of sales. Else, if the maximum value of the statistical states set, which is a boolean, is true, then give me the sum of sales. Else, which is that everybody else, right? It's the people in the outliers. For each state in the outlier bucket, find the sum of sales, then find the overall median for that. And that's what this calculation is doing. And then when we put that on, we can see that there. So now what we're able to do is we have that, and we can go ahead and put sales sort here on color, fix up our colors. We did blue. On the top is that. On the middle is this kind of color, and then the bottom, I think I used you can use like a gray color or brown or something. I think I used Miller Stone, that color. Yeah, that looks right. So, and then we can just go ahead and sort that so that it works just like that. So now we can just go ahead and duplicate our B sales and replace everything with profit ratio. So instead of sum of sales, it's just going to be profit ratio. And we'll call this B's profit ratio. Just like that. Add that over there. There we go. Change our formatting. Default format, %1. Did I have one? I think I just did 0. Now that I think about it. No decimal places. Yeah, that looks right. And then you can just go in here and you can edit this to remove the B. Just like that. And now we can go ahead and add add, what did I say here? $10.50, $6.50. Okay. There we go. Here's a fun thing to remember when you're dealing with scatter plots. Always, I won't say always, 99.9% of the time when you're putting a scatter plot on a dashboard, and the dashboard is not a square size to begin with, always do standard size. The reason for that is going to keep your Y and X axes the same length and width, so it will always be a square, and that way you're not skewing one axis over the other, right? So if you saw here originally when it was entire view, you can see how these outliers are just blown up, are just, they're really outliers, but really they're not. It's just our eyes perceive them as a little bit of that. So quick tip, if you're ever putting a dashboard, either make sure your container is a square or very close to it, or just do standard size, and it will always stay as a square. All right. So now we can go in here and just add that, delete containers, and let's see. And I think because we already set up the parameter action last week to select the states, we don't really need to change anything. We just need to put this on here. We'll go ahead and make this fit entire view. We will give this a title. We'll say, what did I call it? Sales and profit ratio comparison. Just like that. Okay. We'll go ahead and hide that, so we have that. We can go ahead and get rid of our grid lines. So that is pretty much that's the quote-unquote hard part. Now it's all just formatting and tooltips, which is pretty easy, and there's nothing too crazy about these this time. But that's pretty much the end of it. So what did we talk about? Let's recap. First, what we did is we created a set, or I created a set. We didn't do it. I did it, or maybe you did it along with me. We created a statistical set. We did that so that we could group everything together, which allows us to basically use this as its own dimension that we can then use later on in other applications. So I generally like to use sets whenever we're dealing with these types of comparisons. So did a comparison where we compared the sum of sales and the profit ratio of each state in our data set to the 25th and 75th percentiles for each. Now, if you had originally created, when we did this last week, if you had originally created your reference box using this format, you could have just put in your field name here and it would have worked just fine. But we didn't here, so we kind of had to do a little bit of a different approach for this. But so that's just a good way to see within the same workbook from the same author, same developer, you can use multiple different approaches to solve the same problem. So created a conditional set, and then once we created the conditional set, we then we grouped the states within and out of those so that we could get this aggregate median for those, and also did a nice little cool state sort here. So the selected state's always on top, then everything else, and then the outliers down below will always be there. So it was a good week. It was a good challenge. Again, it's a great way to add context and detail. Can you? So Tim's asking, can I explain again why the 25th percentile formula was invalid when you tried to incorporate it in the formula in the state set? Yes. So what he's talking about, I believe, we'll go ahead and create another set. So if we look at the sales 25th percentile, perhaps. So my sales 25th percentile is a window function. It's a table calculation. And sets cannot have table calculations in their conditional formulas. So because I built my sales like this, Tableau said, "Sorry, dude, can't use it. Can't use that calculation." So what I did is I created another way to write that same calculation is this. So let's go ahead. I'll show you this, what it looks like next to each other. So let's go back to 25th sales. So these are essentially the exact same. These are the exact same formula. This is the exact same formula here. One is using a window calculation where if you followed along last week, I had to go and I had to tell Tableau how to compute the window percentile function to use state, and in the fixed level of detail, the nested fixed level of detail, I'm telling Tableau within the calculation to use the fixed set, to use state in the fixed is here. So these two calculations will give you the exact same answer. Now, another question or another thing that came up in the statistical states here is I didn't aggregate these, so I didn't have the sum on them. Okay. So what you can see here is that's what I missed when I was building it the first time. I originally just had, if we take off these squigglies right here, that gives me a valid formula. However, this percentile function, this percentile fixed state, would not. It said that everything was in the 25th percentile, and the reason for that is I had not fixed those. I had not fixed this value because of the level of detail in the view. So by doing that, by adding the squigglies here, I am fixing it. I'm fixing this the 25th percentile value to the entire table, or to the entire data set, everything within context. And now that allows me to aggregate this and get everything that we need. So that's what I had messed up in my original, when I originally started doing this, was I did not have this value fixed to the entire data source. So hopefully that answers your question. It was a bit long-winded, but hopefully that answers your question, Tim. Thanks for the question. That was a good one. All right. Any other questions? If you have any other questions that came up, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. You can reach out to me on Twitter, LinkedIn, drop a comment in the video. However you want to get a hold of me, I'm here for, and we can talk through anything that didn't make sense. Yeah, thanks, Tim. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you picked up a few things, not just something that you can build to use, something that you can use to build this type of chart, but hopefully learned a little bit of Tableau outside of this challenge too. So that's my goal with these, is to not just show you how to do these, but also help you learn why Tableau is doing some of the things that it does. So cool. All right. Well, that was a great week. And again, remember, this is a series. This is the second of the third. So next week, Kyle will have another challenge for us that is going to grow, grow upon, build upon this view right here. So next week, who knows what we're going to build, but it's going to encapsulate something, an additional statistical analytic view that has to do with this. So go ahead, save this off, put it up on your Tableau Power BI profile, put it on your local, wherever you need to put it, and then next week, whenever Kyle releases the challenge, you've already got something to start from. So should be a good one next week. It's going to be good. I'll be here, same time, same day, and we'll do this together again. So until then, I'll be sticking around in the chat for a few more minutes after this, but if you got anything else, thanks a lot. Give me a follow, give me a like, share it on social media, and we'll talk to you all next time.